What's good, YouTube? Cardfight King here, Aqua Life, baby. You already know. Now, I know we're all caught up in the commanding incessant ways, guys. Trust me, I'm way more excited than you actually think about all this new Aqua Life that we're getting. But I finally got the last piece I needed to bring you guys a complete Link Joker Messiah deck. Now, you guys know I've been trying to build this deck since G-Set 3 came out, but I didn't really acquire all of my big crunches, and MC Messiah, as you guys know, has been to me an overvalued bitch of a card to pull type of card, and I'll cover more of him when I get to him. But you guys know that I am a huge Link Joker fan. I love the clan. I've been playing the clan since day one, but I would consider myself more of a Star Vader player than anything else, because obviously we've had Star Vaders for a much longer period than we've had Messiahs. So I've been in more tournaments, more situations with Star Vaders than anything else. It's Chaos Breaker over everything in Link Joker for me. But I do like Messiahs. I'm interested in their play style. Obviously, there's two different play styles, but I am interested in their play style. So I'm still learning the deck, guys. I'm still kind of new to the deck because nobody really plays Link Joker around here, really, especially the Messiahs, and I haven't really been exposed to it. But I did play this deck in one tournament where I borrowed my friend's Stride deck. I did go 5-1 in that tournament. I think I did a tournament report on it, but you have to go check back a bunch of videos. So I do have a little bit of experience with it, but I'm still new to the deck. So if you guys have experience with this deck, you guys have topped, you guys know what you're doing with the deck, whatever it is, please leave suggestions down below when I go through these cards. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll try and make the changes, and let's improve together. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, guys, so my starter is Neon Messiah. So his ability is when he becomes unlocked, you get to throw him in the soul, search out a grade 3 alter ego Vanguard from your unit from your deck. The reason why I like him over the other starter that Messiah's got, which is the Spawn of Spiral Nebula, who is a throw into the soul, lock one of your own, lock an opponent's rear guard for free, is because this deck needs to be able to stride. And this card gives me guaranteed stride fodder for the following turn. By being able to lock. He's just a good target overall, especially when it comes to, different types of combo plays you can do with units that you call to the field. I just like Neon Messiah a lot more than I like the other ones. I've gotten a much better usage, much better utility out of this card than I have the other starters. And then the rest of the trigger line was pretty standard. 4 heal, 4 of the Margle draw trigger, because Alter Ego needs to be able to Soul Blast in order to draw. So this card just this card's just there to go into the soul to provide him ammo so he can use his GB2 ability. And then we just run a standard number of 8 crits. Any crit will do. It's not archetype specific. We're not getting the Messiah Persona crit until G-Set 5. So yeah. Alright, on to grade 1. Alright, guys, so for grade 1, I'm running 4 Cosmo Wreath. It's the G Perfect Guard for Link Jokers. The reason why I'm running 4 Cosmo Wreath is because this deck is very Counterblast heavy, and I need as many ways to get my Counterblast back as often as possible, so I can continue my lock plays and my Amnesty Messiah combo plays and whatnot. We are getting much better support in set 5 to help with your Counterblast management, but definitely in this deck for right now, you need to be able to unflip damage as often as possible, which is why we run those. Running 4 copies of Dark Metal Chameleon. The reason why I'm running Dark Metal Chameleon, again, is because we need to unflip damage. And this card also is a good 7k booster that has resist. So the key ideal spot for this card when I've been playing it is getting him behind your Vanguard, because unless your opponent has like Blaster Joker or like Upheaval Pegasus, Chronos Command, something like that, and their skills go off, this card's not going to move from behind your Vanguard, and it's a great target to lock with Alter Ego's skill, because you lock with Alter Ego's skill, Alter Ego will gain the plus 5k, and then at the end of the turn, this thing will unlock, you'll unflip a damage, and then you'll also be able to draw one if you have the soul and you're at GB2 with Alter Ego. So this is definitely a great card to have on the field. It's hard for your opponent to get off, and really helps when you use your gravity wells and whatnot to unlock, to unflip damage, to start comboing like that. Then we run 4 copies of the Stride Nailer, because this deck is a Stride deck, you need to be able to stride, and then 2 copies of Lady Battle of the White Dwarf. I like her because, you know, when she boosts, you get to unlock any unit on the field and she gains 4K. It's pretty simple. She's there for a lot of the combos within the deck, unlocking your own units, creating different columns, restanding with Awakening Messiah, again comboing with Chameleon, being able to unlock Chameleon to unflip damage, so then you can use other cards and whatnot. So this card is very important to the deck, but as it's, I mean, I want to try and I want to try and change it up to 3 of her and 3 Chameleon, but for right now, I value seeing Chameleon as often as possible and getting him onto the field as fast as possible, to start, so that I have that unflipping type of engine within the deck already on the field. And so I value that probably a bit more than I do White Dwarf at this moment, but I run another version of White Dwarf in the deck, which I'll get to in a minute. All right, on to grade 2. Alright guys, so for grade 2s, I run 4 copies of Lady Battle of the Gravity Well. Now, as you guys know, the whole Messiah deck is all about locking yourself and locking your opponent and then unlocking things, locking and you pretty much playing around with locks, unlocking and locking to, give yourself multiple attacks, give yourself power, extra crits, just a lot of different combo. This is a more what do you have on your field combo oriented type of deck, rearguard to Vanguard interactions. And so Lady Battle of the Gravity Well is a very key card in the deck. This card is a very, very key card in creating a lot of your combo plays and allowing you to get certain abilities off. So what she does is she's an act ability once per turn. At GB1, you can just lock any unit on your field and she gains plus 4K. So she'll be a 13K hitter for the turn. Now, that's important because sometimes, you'll stride over Alter Ego, but you don't have the counter blast and whatnot. So, you can combine the likes of her and Lady Battle. You can lock a Chameleon, and then when you boost her, this will be like a 22K column. You can unlock the Chameleon, unflip a damage, and then you use like Amnesty Messiah or something else, or Dust Blade, whatever. So this is a very key combo card for the deck, and I believe that she has to be played at 4. Next card is another key card to me, is Blast Monk of the Thundering Foot. So he's a locals promo that we got a few months back. And so what he does is when he attacks at GB1, when he attacks, you can unlock any card on the field and he gains plus 4K. So he'll be a 13K attacker when he attacks and you unlock any card on the field. Again, this is another combo piece, because she'll lock something, then you attack with him and you can unlock something. Again, this deck has a lot of different combos in it, but the interaction between locking and unlocking is very important for getting a lot of this deck off. And this deck does need a good amount of unlocking power that doesn't use counterblast in order to sustain yourself with your counterblast. Because this deck does require some good counterblast management, but and also to extend your combos. And this is a very key card in that. Now, I run him at 3 because I run these other 2 cards at 2. I run Dust Blade at 2. Dust Blade is the Amber clone where you boost at GB1, you counterblast 1, lock a grade 2 or less on your opponent's board. I don't really see much of a usage for him in the in my deck right now. I was running him at 4. I never really made use of him at 4, and I was really missing copies of him and her when I was running a bit less of these and running him at 4. I was missing having these 2 on the field and seeing them as often as possible. So I took him down to 2, and it's been flowing a lot better with how the Messiahs play. To me, he feels more like he would do really good in a Starvader deck, but it is what it is. So I run 2 of him, and then I run 2 copies of Awakening Messiah. Now, Awakening Messiah, I know a lot of people run 3 copies of him. Some people run 4 copies of him. But I'm running him at 2 copies because, again, I value the unlocking power of Blast Monk and the locking power of Gravity Well very, very high in this deck for, the combos that you could bring with them. But what this card does is that when it's locked, so when it becomes unlocked, you get to restand a unit and give it plus 2,000 power. So having him and Thundering Foot on the field, in separate columns, obviously is a huge plus, because you can Alter Ego lock him. So then when you attack with him, you can unlock him. He'll gain +3 at being at 13. Then his ability will restand him and he'll be at 15. So he'll be pretty much poking at your opponent for 15, and then he'll be standing again for another attack. Plus, you just unlock this card, so you have another attack that's going to go off. So these two definitely create a multi-attack combination. It's a pretty good card, and I'm really thinking about just running him and taking out Dustblade, because as I'm playing more and more, I'm not seeing and I may be doing it wrong, so definitely if you guys have any suggestions, leave in the comment section below. But I personally am not seeing much of a usage for Dustblade in this current Messiah deck as it is now, not set 5, as it is now. Not seeing much of a good usage for him as I am the other cards in the deck. So definitely, if you guys have any suggestions, leave in the comments below. Should I take the card out? Should I keep it at 2? How's my lineup? What do you guys think? So let's get into grade 3. Alright guys, so grade 3 is fairly simple. 4 copies of the backup Vanguard. Now, some people run the Legion, and I was trying the Legion out, but it didn't. The Legion didn't really flow well with me, and the Legion mates weren't really too helpful. And comboing and different things that you do with the deck. So I run this back of Vanguard Lady Gunner, the Neutron Star. So what she does is simple. At GB1, when you ride her or call her to the rearguard circle, lock one of your units and then lock one of your opponent's units. Fairly simple. She's a good combo card. Having her and White Dwarf in the same column, and you use White Dwarf to unlock something, that's a 22k column. So it's a very good card to place on your rearguard circle. I really do like her. Again, she's just a backup Vanguard. She's not something that you do want to ride. But what you do want to ride, my friends, is Alter Ego Messiah. Now, I do like Alter Ego Messiah. His GB2 ability is kind of like half of Chaos Breakers, because nobody can beat the original Chaos Breaker. That's my boy. But what he does is a GB2, when any unit unlocks, you Soul Blast one and you get to draw a card. Pretty standard, pretty good. He doesn't retire, which I think could be useful in some situations, but it is what it is. And then his stride break skill is pretty simple. When you stride on top of it, you counterblast one, choose a unit on your field, lock it. Your Vanguard gets plus 5,000, and you also choose a unit on your opponent's field, and you lock that as well. Now, Brawlers are a very, very bad matchup for this deck, because again, like I said, and Brawlers are just a great deck overall. The fact that they have the ability to wipe out your entire field, and then if your field is wiped out, so let's say they go into turbo and they hit your whole field, and my brother's done this to me a number of times. When you stride over Alter Ego, you have nothing on your field to lock. So you can't pay the cost for Alter Ego's ability to lock one of their units. So that's where units like Dustblade and Neutron Star and stuff come into play. So you can lock the units, but it requires you to commit to the field to lock. So I'm just saying, if this kind of like Big Belly for Great Natures, if there's nothing on the field for you to use his ability on, then you're going to be missing out on using his stride break ability, which I don't like. But it's not every day I play against Brawlers other than when I'm playing against my brother. So yeah, his stride break ability is pretty good. It is pretty good, and unless you're playing against Brawlers and they're wiping out your field, you're playing against something and your field's getting wiped out, his stride break ability should go off pretty often. So yeah. Pretty good card. I do like him. Again, he's getting his Persona support. I'm a huge Persona fan, and everything that has to do with the name of the Vanguard, I just call it Persona. His Persona support doesn't come out till set 5 when we get the crit trigger. We're gonna get Arrestor Messiah, who is a very, very good card, a key card in getting off Amnesty and Excelix and whatnot. So yeah, definitely definitely good card. And I would definitely advise, if you're going to play this deck during set 5, pick up your G Perfect Guards now, pick up your Messiahs now, because if we've seen what we've seen from like Gear Chronicles, certain cards are just going to go way up in price than what they originally were. All right, and on the stride deck. All right, guys. So for my stride deck, I might be a little bit different. So I'm running 2 copies of Judgment Messiah. Now, personally, a lot of people don't like this card. Personally, this card to me is not that great. He's decent on hit pressure, but he's not that great for the fact that you lock a back row if he hits. If he was like lock, any unit on the field if he hits, then I would be like, oh, okay, this card is good. But you have to hit it, but you can unlock a back row if he hits. So it's not that fantastic. Now, a lot of people play the very popular option of Blizzard in this deck, going into Blizzard first as your first stride, just so you can get the GB2. So when your unit unlocks, you can draw a card. And then when your opponent unit unlocks after their turn, you can draw another card. But that does require you to get have 2 counterblasts available and things like that. Then if you didn't lock Chameleon or unlock Chameleon, whatever it is, then it would force you to take some damage, because if you don't have any counterblasts, you're not going to be able to use Ultra Ego's Messiah stride break ability, and then things are just going to go a little bit awkward from there. But I've been trying out Blizzard, and the drawing is pretty nice. I can say in some situations, I'd rather not go into Blizzard. I'd rather take it a little bit slower, a bit, slower pace, go into Judgment Side, force some pressure here and there, keep my lock. I don't need a plus in certain situations, but Blizzard's good, especially if people play the grade 2 game against you. Or you're sitting at like 3 or 4 damage. You're just in a corner and you need to draw to get some advantage back. I can definitely see why Blizzard comes in handy. So to me, it's a love-hate relationship. I'm still 50-50 on it. So you guys, let me know what you guys think. Definitely 4 copies of Big Crunch. Big Crunch is a really, really great card for lane jokers. Great control. So what he does is you counterblast 1, you choose a card and you choose a card on your opponent's field, and you lock the entire column. He does get around resist, so you choose the card in the column that doesn't have resist, and then you can just lock the whole column. The resist unit will get locked. So very good card for link jokers. Definitely needed. I'm playing that in Chaos Breaker, so it is what it is. And then last but not least, we have Amnesty Messiah. So what Amnesty Messiah does is when he attacks, you can counterblast 1, unlock as many units as you want, and he gets 3,000 power for each unit unlocked, and he gets an extra crit if you unlocked 3 or more units. Now, my issue with Amnesty Messiah is, 1, his price. His price, to me, doesn't match up with his ability, because yes, I only ran 1, and you can run, and a lot of people just run 1 Judgment, 1 Blizzard, and 2 Amnesty Messiahs, yes. And Amnesty Messiah is definitely going to be needed at 3 if you're going to be running Excelix. But his ability is not that great. He's like a harder conditioned Saint Blow, and if your opponent has Perfect Guard in hand, and then it's like, well, I relinquished control over my opponent by unlocking one of their units, whatever it is, just to gain extra crit to get Perfect Guard. Kind of like Saint Blow. Saint Blow, a lot of Royal Paladin players I've talked to are taking Saint Blow, kind of out of their deck, or just running it at 2, because, a Perfect Guard deals with Saint Blow pretty handily. And this guy's kind of like a Saint Blow for them, but, it's not generation restricted. So you can go into him as your first stride, and you can, swing on him with a crit if you're able to get the gravity well on the field and have a nice combo play with it. That is definitely possible, and I think Amnesty Messiah is not a bad card. I just think that his overall monetary value doesn't match up with his current ability and how and how his ability is used. Because the way I use him is, sure, I could do him first stride if the situation calls for it, and I can try going for that type of play, or I can probably save it for a late game play. A lot of people save him for late game because they go into Blizzard first, and that means that your opponent can definitely play around it. Whether you're running 1 or 2 amnesties, your opponent can definitely play around it. So and a lot of it is hypothetical, but I do like Amnesty Messiah. I think it's a pretty good card for, especially for what the clan does with unlocking and stuff. But yes, you do need a counterblast for it. You do need to have a good field setup to combo with it. And, to me, guys, his effect doesn't match his price. effect to price. He's not a restander. He doesn't do any sort of guard manipulation or conditional guarding effect on the opponent. So that's pretty much how I feel about Amnesty Messiah, really. But it's a good card to have. If you can definitely acquire him, I highly recommend playing it in your Messiah deck because he goes with what the Messiah deck does. And I would recommend definitely playing 1 or 2 copies. So far, I have 1 because, as you guys know, he's a bitch of a card to acquire, especially due to the price and whatnot. But that's the deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry it's a bit long. Just had to, explain a lot of things. If you guys have any suggestions, put them in the comment section below. And we got a lot of Aquaforce content coming up, guys, so stay tuned. All right, Cardfight King, and I'm out. Peace.